Today I'm going to talk about three signs that show that you lack boundaries in your life. So let's cut to the chase. Boundaries are defined as what is you and what is not you, is what you find acceptable and unacceptable in the way people behave towards you. Okay, so boundaries, to me, I define boundary as a door to a house. So a house is well furnished, a house is well built, nicely painted, everything, interior decor on point. Outside, the grasses are outside, the roof, AC, the lighting system, and everything. Everything is on point, but it doesn't have a door. Yeah, it doesn't have a door. Just mention how the future house you want your imaginary future house you want it to be like, or your future house. Yeah. So it is well furnished, nicely built, well painted, but it doesn't have a door. So without it having a door, any animal can enter without nothing preventing it. They can go in freely and come out freely. Anyone can enter, take whatever they want to take, and come out. It's the same thing with certain boundaries. As humans as we are supposed to have boundaries. It is a must. We must have boundaries. And this is something I never heard about in school, of which I find it kind of weird, but yeah. So we are nice like this outside, but we don't have boundaries, and anyone can enter into our lives, mess up and go out without feeling guilty. And when they leave us with the green mess, and we need to clean up ourselves. It's painful but true. So true. So true. So I'm going to talk about three signs that shows that we don't have boundaries, that we don't have a door to a nicely furnished house. First one is that you feel that you have been taken granted by people. Yeah, you'll be taken granted by people because if you don't have boundaries, then you don't have respect. The lack of boundary invites lack of respect. So even if you are the president of a country and you don't have boundaries, even if you are the boss of a company, or even you are the headmaster of a school, you don't have boundaries, you invite lack of respect. If you like, be a teacher and you don't have boundaries, you see how your students relate with you. They take you for granted, even when you're being serious with a thing, they don't care. They think you are joking because that's how they know you to be. The next sign is that you are a victim of emotional blackmail. And emotional blackmail is when someone in your life uses psychology to remote control you. So the person in your life can either be your family member, the person can be your co-worker, the person can be your husband or your wife, the person can be your boyfriend or your girlfriend, even your mother. Yeah. So they use fear, obligation, and guilt to manipulate you to do things to please them. You get what I'm saying? So in a case like this, your decisions are being controlled. What you wear are being controlled. Where you go to is even being controlled. Yeah, yeah, that's so true. So being a victim of emotional blackmail is very hard to detect. So you can be a victim for a very long time without, Let me give an example. Let me give an example that you are a victim of emotional blackmail. So where someone tells you that if you say you truly love me, you wouldn't have done this to hurt me. You are playing with your guilt. You're using psychology to manipulate you. So if you love me, you wouldn't have said what you have said. If you say you truly love me, you wouldn't have done what you have done. If you leave me, I'll commit suicide. All these things are things that are playing with you. Oh, they're in psychology to manipulate you. So they're playing with your guilt. They are playing with your obligation. The third one is you overshare details about your life with others. You talk about everything that goes on in your life with everybody you meet, and it's not really cool. It's not cool at all. When you have boundaries, you be selective on what exactly to tell a particular person at a particular time. Have you met someone that you start a conversation with, and then the person ends up telling you everything that has ever happened in their life, even to the extent where things that you're not supposed to hear, you hear from that person? They end up revealing secret. because they don't have boundaries. As a neighbor, you're supposed to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries with your neighbors, have boundaries with your in laws, have boundaries, set them right. Don't talk to them about everything. Don't be too chatty with your neighbor. I'm not saying don't make friends, I'm only saying know your limit. Know your limit on what you tell people. Because your secret is your power. If they have that secret, you are doomed. Although you don't use Zoom. You see married women that tell their friends about everything that goes on in their life. They talk to their friends about everything that goes on in their marriage, of which they are exposing their husbands to their friend. And if their friend gets to know that sometimes your husband loses their respect, you're supposed to get from your friend because you as a wife you don't have boundaries. You get what I'm saying? So boundaries is something that is really, really important, of which it's give so much attention to. So please set the boundaries and set them right. As a husband, please set the boundaries and set them right. As a co-worker, please set the boundaries and set them right. As a boss, set them right. As a pastor, please set the boundaries right so that the church members will not take you for granted. Please have some respect for God and set the boundaries right. Set them right. As a wife, set the boundaries right and stop exposing every detailed thing that goes on in your marriage to people.